Okay, if you would please bow your heads. Father, thank you for allowing us to gather today for Rotary. Thank you for all the blessings that you give us each and every day. We pray for the doctors and nurses and healthcare workers that have done so much during this pandemic. Please keep them safe. We pray for world peace, and we pray that our lives are better tomorrow than they are today and they were yesterday. We pray all of this in your holy name. Amen.
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 Thank you, Jim.
All right.
Okay.
Please join me in the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
And to
and
the
to the
republic
republic which
for which it stands,
one
one nation,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with
liberty
and
and
justice for all.
Okay, great.
Am I
Super.
coming in? Am I coming in weird with the sound?
No,
You've reached the Evans family. Please leave a message.
nope. We're
Okay,
good, Jim.
because I get you sporadically. Okay.
You're no weirder than usual.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, that's good.
You can always count on us.
Have to work hard.
Yeah, really. A lot of moral support there.
Oh, yeah, we're,
Hey,
Mr. President,
hey, Big John, welcome.
Hey, I'm here.
Mr.
Hi,
President, we have
Yeah.
some very special guests with us here today. I would like to introduce and to recognize member of the Mount Sac Board of Trustees, Laura Santos is with us.
hey,
I would like to recognize fellow Rotarian from the Great Club of Pomona, a Rotoplast team member on multiple missions in South America, and the Director of Public Affairs for Mount Sac, Jill Dolan.
Thank you, Drexel. And I'm also the president-elect for Pomona. So I'll be following
Well,
Ron
listen
Vera.
to you.
So
Listen
I've
to you.
taken the plunge or been talked into it. I'm not sure which it was, but thank you for
Wonderful.
having us today.
And obviously our guest speaker, Mika Klein. Mika, in fairness to you, you were the kind of stand-in a little more than a year ago as the guest speaker, and you did such an awesome job. The board unanimously wanted you to come back. I think, one, it's your competence, but two, it's your enthusiasm. But number three, you got $1 million smile that makes everybody feel good. And somehow you're able to share with confidence how you're spending the people's money on all of these improvements at the college. Folks don't really appreciate the challenges it is to spend a couple $100 million.
Oh, yeah.
I can do it like that, Drexel. Give me some more. I'm ready.
And I don't say that insignificant.
Right, Laura? We got projects.
Yeah, look at the football stadium.
Hello?
Very nice.
Yeah, all we need is COVID to get past us. And I think that Miss Dolan actually cheated. I think she heard that we were having Mika as a speaker today. So she snuck her in for a guest speak yesterday as a dry run. So
That was actually John Forbean. You
we're-
guys know John Forbean?
Oh, we know John, of course.
So I think he dropped the dime, but then I helped. So I owe Mika a lunch here in town.
Yes, she
Yeah,
does. Since we live in the same hood, it'll be easy.
But it's great to have our friends from Mount Sac. Mount Sac is affectionately known just south of us as the University of Walnut by many, but It's a tremendous institution, and I've been honored to serve on the Bond Oversight Committee. It's given me a little bit of a preview on how the money is being spent. And it's just extraordinary what the college is really doing. So at the right time, Mr. President, we'll introduce you, Mika, but thank you, and I'm glad you're all here today.
Yep. Thank you, Drexel. Thank you very much, and welcome, everybody. I'd also like to add a welcome to Lori Williams, who is here today, and hopefully we see more of her. We've missed her for a little while. I'd also like to.
Hopefully once we get our kids back in school, my life will ease up a little bit. But we're planning on getting all of our special education students, most of them, back into school on the 12th. So we're almost there. Yeah.
Good, good.
That's good for everybody.
We'll look forward to seeing you. Dave should be signing in here pretty soon. I think he's also trying to get the link. Let me send him a message real quick here while he's can get
So
on.
Lori, are you bringing the kids in all together? We're at Ramona Convent. We're bringing in them half and half. So we're doing a hybrid. So half the kids will be coming in on a Monday and I don't know what it is, Monday and Thursday and Tuesday. I don't exactly know what it is, but half the alphabet will be coming in 2 days, half the alphabet will be coming in 2 days, and then Wednesdays everybody will just be taught remote.
So we have 33 special day classrooms. So students that are in self-contained classrooms, they have more severe disabilities. All of them are coming back 5 days a week, full time. And then students that have milder disabilities, our elementary students are coming back in a hybrid schedule 2 days a week. And then we have at our secondary level, they're coming back 1 day a week. Yeah. The special day classrooms are the ones that are lots of planning.
Yeah.
I feel your pain.
Yeah.
I've been doing it on campus for a year. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to let everybody know that we had a very successful, I'm sure you saw some of the pictures in the trumpet, very successful suitcase distribution.
Yes.
West Covina Unified did an excellent job with their gazebo and shuttling the cars through. The parents were all very, very nice and very happy to get the suitcases. The kids were ecstatic. It was very, very nice to see. They were all excited. And, and this is the first year that we got grade school kids in addition to just the high school kids. So that was nice as well. And I think we had almost as many photographers attending as we had people to distribute the suitcases. So I was taking pictures for the club. Unified, the West Covina Unified had a photographer there for their information, and the Forever Kids brought their photographer themselves as well. So
Oh, great.
we had no shortage of pictures. Huh?
Were they taking pictures of each other?
Pretty much, because the kids had to stay in the car. So, it was a matter of, every shot is blocking somebody. So anyway, it was kind of fun. It was a lot of fun.
Good.
Dennis?
For the purpose of our guests, you might back up just a second and say, these are special suitcase programs for foster care kids.
Well said. They Forever Kids is a program that we support. They provide suitcases to foster care, as Drexel said. And yeah, we've been doing it for a few years now, and it's been very successful. A lot of clubs in the area support them as well. So,
Have you guys, just out of curiosity, have you worked with the REACH program on the Mount Sac campus? That's our foster youth program. The director of it, his name is Jesse. He's wonderful. And I'm sure they'd love to get involved. They just did an amazing presentation at the last Board of Trustees study session on, you know, the work that they're doing with sort of all of these sort of specialized caseload.
if
And
you
our
can,
foster youth are really
if you
struggling.
can forward his information to us,
I
Drexel or
Jesse
myself.
Lopez, let me write myself a note. He's great. I mean, Laura, you remember the presentation. I mean, it gave me chills. So it was.
Mika, I can do it. I'll get the info
Okay.
to Drexel.
If he'd like to come do a presentation, we'd love to have him.
Absolutely.
You really should have them do it, but just be forewarned, the hair on your arms is going to stand on end because it's a very real conversation.
Right. Yeah, it is. It is. We've had some other people come to the club, and so we have some idea, but we'd love to support Mount Sac. So, because they're right here in our
And
area.
I also think it's different for emancipated youth. These are emancipated foster youth.
That's
So
right.
It's
And
a different thing. Yeah.
And they're flying without a net.
Yeah.
They,
Okay.
They've lost everything.
Yeah.
But Mount Sac trying to give them something, but it's
Yeah.
not enough.
It'd be great to hear that program. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I recommend Jesse.
Okay. A procedure, administration note, John, since you're here, I'll just let you know that I got an email from RI this morning saying that they have solved your disconnect on the contribution you made. So that'll show up correctly. So we got that figured out. So
Thank you.
we were working with the administration. They had some problems with some data for John, and so they finally got it fixed. So it was nice to see. We'll have good information. So, okay, I think at this point, one thing that I wanted to mention, looking at the calendar, tomorrow is Dr. Dave Alfaro's Rotary anniversary. So we wanted to congratulate him. I'm sorry he's not on, but we'll harass him about that later. And then I wanted to remind everybody, Saturday, the 3rd, is the Easter extravaganza for the city of West Covina at Cortez Park. And that is at starts at 9 a.m. So that was included, and the details are included in the trumpet. And then the last thing that I was gonna try to remind people of is the Rotary Night in Las Vegas, the program that's going on, and you can still get tickets, I'm sure. And the data for that is in the trumpet as well, along with a link for the tickets.
Chief, I've got some news on the speech contest.
Ooh, let's go.
Yes, all right. Ray Carney of the Azusa Club, who's also an assistant district governor, announced yesterday that the regional competition for our area, which of course includes our club as well, will be on Thursday, April 29th at 4 p.m. And there'll be more news coming out about it.
Super. So provide that for me and I will get it on the calendar. Okay, Ken?
Okay, will do. Yeah.
Thanks. Okay. With that, I think I am ready. Anybody have any other announcements they'd want to make, like Ken, about the ongoing things in case I forgot something? If not, Vicky, you were going to say something.
Well, I did. I wanted to mention that I have another Zoom meeting, a Rotary Zoom meeting with Roger Gutierrez at 1 o'clock. So if I bow out, that's the reason why. But I also wanted to let you and Drexel know if you wanted to attend this Zoom meeting, you're welcome to. I can send you the login information. It has to do with the cause-based Rotary Club, that tutoring based purpose that is currently going on in West Covina, and that we're going to try and expand also to Azusa. So you're welcome to join in if you'd like to, just to know what's going on in West Covina, and then see that it's also going to be expanded if you want to.
Oh, thank you. I have some prior engagements, but I'm interested in the program. So maybe if you could send me something, a write-up about kind of what's covered in the meeting, I can get it out to everybody in the trumpet, and we can let them have a little more information about, because I think other people are interested in the idea of tutoring kids. So
Yeah,
I think that would be good.
yeah,
And not all of our teachers are in the Zoom meeting, so I think it would help them to see that information as well.
yeah, okay.
Okay, so Jill or Mika? Jill. Well, we'll put you on the spot, Jill. You're on. No. No, Mika, I want to welcome you to our club and to say we appreciate very much your coming and speaking to us. We really did enjoy your presentation last year, which is one reason why we got back in touch with you. So,
well, thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it. I have a question, you guys. How much time do I have? Because Lord knows I'm yappy, and I could talk all day about this.
20 minutes would be good.
Okay, so
and you, procedure administration here, you can share your screen, by the way.
I can. Okay, good, because I think. Oops, sorry, that would be my sister. Okay. Okay, I'm going to share my screen, and please, since we only have 20 minutes, I think you guys should just stop me and ask questions, and I can share the PowerPoint, you know, if you want the imagery afterwards, and I will say that, well, we'll just see how fast we can get through it. How's that? Now, okay, so I'm sharing my screen. First question I have is, can you see it?
Looks good.
Yes.
All right, awesome. And so this is for Drexel. See, Drexel, full disclosure, 2 Rotary clubs in one presentation. So I don't know how many of you guys saw or were part of Dr. Scroggins' presidential breakfast last fall, but the joke we've had on campus is that we're moving like a freight train, right? Like we went out the gate and we are flying. We are not idle. So when he gave us that, we kind of had a field day building the presentation based on that and sort of thinking about all the projects in train lingo. So just humor, you know, bear with me on this one. So there's a whole bunch of pieces, and so this is just basically the agenda. And so I will explain as I go along what this means in terms of projects at Mount SAC. So the first thing here, and this map I think really shows what's going on here. These are all the phase 1 projects. The ones here that are in green, so that's the stadium, scoreboard, and the practice fields. That's athletics complex phase 1. The champion parking structure and tennis courts, these are both done. The West Counseling modulars are done. So all the green, we've already completed. The red is everything that's under construction right now. And if you've driven down Temple, I'm sure you've seen it. So the second phase of athletics, that's the gymnasium, wellness, aquatics, Heritage Hall. That's this whole area here on the south side of Temple at Bonita. That whole area is under construction. The gateway parking structure, that's our second parking structure, also under construction, but like, I mean, you can say it's fully developing. If you go by, you're going to see all the concrete columns. You're going to see 4 decks. The transit center also there, which we are partnering with Foothill Transit on. That's now under construction. And then with all of this work, there's a new signal going in here. So there's a ton of work that's going on along Temple. We have a pedestrian bridge that we're building there. We're beginning our Temple Avenue Green Corridor project, the new signal. So pretty soon, your view as you come along Temple is going to be radically different. And then the one that Drexel was alluding to earlier, this giant orange area, that whole thing used to have all the row buildings and the modulars. They've all been demolished. And so the first project, and probably one of the most important for our campus, is the much needed and long awaited student center. So that's happening first. And then the campus store is actually at DSA right now. So then we'll construct that. And then we've got the library and technology now. So the whole front of the campus is transforming. And then you can see all these other ones with the black. These are all projects that are in various levels of either design or DSA approval. So it shows just the magnitude of the amount of work we've got going on, and that we're touching every part of the campus. And then, well, let me get over here. Oops. Oh, look, now I've got Starry Night behind me. Who knew? Okay. Oops, go back. So, all right, you guys, I'm going to minimize this so it's not in your way. So what I wanted to show you guys here is we took advantage. We said, okay, COVID is a nightmare. It's a horrible thing. But if we're going to have to close the campus, how much work can we get done on campus in this moment that it's safer, it's easier, it's more cost effective? And so we just went truly full steam ahead on all the infrastructure and taking advantage of not having students and employees on campus. And it's really enabled us to push a number of projects earlier in our schedule and frankly save money. So, I mean, I just love this. You can see all of the construction here that was going on campus. So when you think about, the idea of a train, you can't do anything without the train tracks, right, and the railroad ties. So the entire center of campus is ripped up right now because we're putting in all the new utilities infrastructure. And when I say that, I mean this is major, huge trenches. This is storm line, power, data, domestic water, fire water. I mean, you name it. And it's significant. And it's been an interesting process. So in this sense, COVID allowed us to do this, I think, in a much safer way than we would have if we'd had to navigate all the students around weaving through these areas. And so then once we set those railroad ties, right, then this allowed us the high-speed locomotive. These are the 5 projects that we advanced really, really quickly. And so that athletics complex, I just want to kind of show you this. Can you all see that? Mm-hmm. This is it. This is the new field house. This is the stadium. This is this mega scoreboard. These beautiful new practice fields. And then you can't see it on this side, but that's the ticketing and concessions, and that is all complete. It was ready to open and do the ribbon cutting. Laura will remember, Joe remembers, right as we shut the campus down for COVID. So one of the things we're looking forward to when we get back is there's going to be a whole slew of ribbon cutting ceremonies. And just in case you want to know, do you guys all see this little modular building right here in the foreground? If you ever need to find me, my office is in here. So that's where I live. And then this piece here, this is what we call the champion parking structure with the tennis courts on top. That is also now complete, you guys, and ready for occupancy. In fact, we're starting, we're allowed to bring tennis back as part of the CCC 2A because tennis is a non-contact sport. So we're teeing up to have tennis starting, at least from a competition standpoint. And what we've done is this entire lower deck is now open and available, and we're using the upper deck for construction staging for this other athletics complex here. So this is where the PE, the gym, and aquatics is going to go. And then if you see over here, that's that other parking structure I was talking about. This is the gateway parking structure. So when all of this is done, we will have successfully moved all of athletics south of Temple Avenue. These are just some other views, right? This is the ticketing. This is an inside view of the track and field and football and cross country offices inside the field house over here. This is this ginormous scoreboard. This is the parking structure I was talking about, which is really, and so this is the champion parking structure. We're looking here, I'm standing here looking north towards Temple Avenue. And you can see, you know, the hills in the background. Really looking forward to this. Then here I'm standing up on the upper deck of the field house looking down on this new parking structure and tennis facility. This road here, this is the new one we brought in. This is what we're going to call Champion Way, hence the reason that this parking structure is the Champion parking structure. Okay, so so let me just stop there. I'm going to go back. So that was everything on kind of what's going on with a number of things athletics. Anything questions on these completed projects before I move into the next area?
I just have one. You said the tennis courts are going to be on top of the parking structure?
They are, see them? So the beauty of Mount Sac being on a sloping site is this upper level here. See how it's flush with the road here? When you get all the way down to the other end, there's another level of parking underneath it. So there's a second level underneath here. You can kind of see it here.
Yes.
And
Wow.
that was done intentionally, right? Because Mount Sac's whole goal, you know, and this is, you know, I should say, so for those of you who don't know, so I'm the senior facilities planner for Mount Sac. And the way I explain that to most people is it's akin to if you were at a 4-year college or university, what we would call a campus architect. And what that means is my job is to look at the whole campus and make sure all these pieces and parts are knitting together, and that we don't get tunnel vision and just look at one project without looking at the context and how that connects and feeds into everything else. And are we applying all of our sustainability goals? Are we making sure that we're applying all of our campus initiatives? And how does that all knit together? And so these conversations about how do you enter and exit both vehicular and pedestrian, and how do we, you know, make places feel welcoming, that sort of all falls under my umbrella to step back, look high, and kind of look at the whole campus, which is why I'm often taking pictures up high as I'm thinking about how it pulls together. Let's see here. So then the next parking structure, this is the one we're calling this the gateway parking structure.
Mika, can I interrupt for just a moment?
Go for it.
I guess I must have missed it somewhere along the way. If you look at the entire project, everything that you're talking about, what is the pot? How much funding is this going to take?
Oh, okay. Well, so Measure GO was a $750 million bond measure. And however, a number of the projects in the athletics area, for example, the Athletics Complex East, which is the stadium, the Champion parking structure, those projects were primarily funded out of Measure RR. There might be some completion funds related to Measure GO. I honestly, when it comes to the dollar amounts, you guys, that's Gary Nelson can pull those numbers like off the top of his head. I don't have those at my fingertips, but I can tell you, let me go back here, that when you look at this diagram here, all of these projects, probably excluding these two over here, all of these are being funded with Measure GO. And plus a whole bunch of other smaller things. You know, I'm not even showing all the infrastructure or the wayfinding projects, all of the other pieces together. So they're all coming out of the Measure GO pot, and we're leveraging funds. We leverage funds everywhere we can get them. So like Transit Center, primarily being paid for by Foothill. The gymnasium, wellness, and aquatics, 80% of that project is being funded by the state. Right? So we submitted that for capital outlay funding. The technology and health project, which I will get to, which, you know, that is, we're getting something like $80 million from the state for technology and health. And the reason is we were really smart and strategic. This is the other thing that falls into the planning team, is how do we have to be strategic about which projects we submit for state funding because every dollar we get from the state allows us to stretch the Measure GO bond dollars farther. Technology and health is primarily career technical education programs, right? Which is the #1 priority at the state level right now. That project, you guys, is 250,000, actually more, 275,000 gross square feet. That is by far the biggest project we've ever built on our campus. Furthermore, it is the biggest project that the state has ever funded, right? And it's part of that is because they trust Mount SAC, and we have a really good relationship with them. That when we submit something and we say we're ready to go, they know we're ready to go. That we have the local money to augment, you know, because now the state's saying everything's 50-50, right? To hold up our end of the bargain. The other thing on tech and health, which I think is a great story, is that think about it. If you were Governor Newsom's shoes in the last year and you've seen what's been happening economically, right? He's desperately trying to get the economy going again and give people jobs. Well, one way that they are able to do that is they want to build projects, right? Construction. So they called us up and they said, if we gave you money a year early on tech and health, could you start the project? And Mount SAC said, okay. That's why we're so busy, right? This project is accelerated a whole year in the schedule because we're taking advantage of that. And as far as I know, we are the only community college who is part of this accelerated schedule, who when the deadline to submit the preliminary plans and drawings, we're the only ones who submitted on time. And it is a building that's 2 to 3 times bigger than anybody else's project. And that's just a testament that we have a great team in the facilities planning and management department, and that when we make a commitment like that, we stick to our commitments. And so that means, as we all know, time is money, right? Doing that a year early, we are absolutely going to save money on this, that we can then leverage that money even farther to pay for the rest of the projects. So did that answer the question, or do you have more questions now?
What
John,
you're saying?
I got a question.
Mhm.
On all the athletic side of Temple,
Mhm.
is it going to be gated off to the public, or are they going to have access to the tennis courts or anything like that?
That is an excellent, excellent question. So, you know, one of the big focuses of this last educational facilities master plan was to really look at the community part of community college. Right? We did all these community workshops. We got a lot of great feedback. And one of the things we looked at, and you know, this is, I mean, I joke about it, but it's kind of not funny. When you drive by Mount SAC right now, like if I drive down Grand, what do I see? I see the Tushy of the theater building. I look San Jose Hills Road, I see the Tushy of building 6. I come down Temple, I see the Tushy of building 28. That's not a good look, you guys. And that is certainly not inviting to the community or the students or visitors. And so this whole master plan is about opening up, like, what's our face to the community? What are the amenities we can provide to the community? And how, you know, at the same time, we're building in everything we need for our students to be successful. So, you know, the tennis courts aren't just going to be open. I think that's one, because there's 9 of them that, you know, they'd probably, if they do open them up for community use, it's something that would probably have to be discussed with the athletics division. And like I said, they're just now testing them out for the first time. But they're, you know, you can walk all through here. People, you know, I mean, I still do it. You know, if you're still going through Reservoir Hill or the switchbacks and you're taking advantage of all of the walking paths, that's going to continue. It's going to, when you see the drawings of what we're doing over here at the PE complex, that's pretty amazing as well, because it opens all of that up as part of the Healthy Living Loop, which is a project that supports everybody, and we're really hoping that the community will take advantage of it. I'm trying to think here, in terms of the fields, certainly you can't get into the field house, and getting into the actual stadium.
Yeah, that's probably all blocked off.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to get
a lot, you know, but they're not going to, like, you know, they're not going to let, you know, a youth youth soccer team, for example, out here on the competition.
I'm thinking they're gonna keep everything closed, to be honest with you, to the public. Yeah, I can't see them just letting anybody go onto these fields and do whatever they
Yeah,
want.
I mean, I don't think you can get into the ball fields or the soccer fields now. I think those are already.
But you know what? The artificial practice field, okay, there's 3 fields, 2 practice fields, 1 artificial, 1's natural, and then the field in the stadium.
Right.
And they finished the artificial field before the stadium, and it was open, and people were, you know, I was going jogging on that. So I hope it stays open and accessible.
Well, and I would think that we would be able to rent them out to youth leagues.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Organized leagues and stuff.
Yes.
Like Field of Dreams, like they do at Field of Dreams and stuff.
And I think, you know, it's kind of like what we do right now with aquatics, right? We've got a number of youth swim teams, right?
Yeah, Brea.
I really do think that, you know, because this literally just came on live 23 seconds before the campus shut down for COVID, that the division hasn't had a chance yet to wrap their brain around it. And right now, we absolutely, you know, per the county, we can't let anybody in here right now.
Yeah.
Once things start to relax,
But the residents on their property tax bill, they're paying, we have like, we got $1 billion of construction money. We got in 2008, we had a $325 million bond, and in 18, 750. So that's $1 billion in 10 years construction money. The residents of not just the residents, but the property owners in the Mount Sac district are paying for that bond. They're paying property taxes. So in my opinion, you know, they should have access to some extent, you know.
I would say limited access, because they're, needless to say, and I'm not going to get into all the security issues we have on campus, but we have a lot of them. And that, honestly, you guys, that's part of, you know, when I get to some of the other projects, but when you see what's starting to happen with the wildlife sanctuary and that whole Temple Avenue Green Corridor is all about the community, right? And starting to
but Mika, the sanctuary is gated. It shouldn't be, in my opinion. There should be access to it.
It has to be.
That's not community oriented when you got it fenced and locked.
Right. Well, Laura, I mean that's not within my purview. All I can say about the wildlife sanctuary is, you know, you have protected habitat, and so
Mika, we're getting stuck on a point, and you've got a lot of material, and we've only got about another 10 or 15 minutes to go. May I propose that you move along?
Sure. Okay. So this is a rendering of the gateway parking structure. And the main thing I wanted you to see here is this pedestrian bridge that is going to connect over Temple Avenue. So that's literally kind of what we consider as the gateway. And so I wanted to show you, this has been in construction. If you look here, you can see how this is coming out of the ground. And that bridge, this is Stadium Way right here. And then you take a little jog, and this is Champion Way over here on the right-hand side that leads into this whole athletics complex. This parking structure is a 4-deck parking structure.
I'm not ready yet. Hi.
Oh, okay. And so it's, you know, at the rate we're going, you guys, I really think it's going to be up and functional for fall term, which we desperately need. I had a lot more photos here, you guys. I trimmed them down because I just didn't think we had a lot of time. But you can really see how the south side of Temple is developing up. And then I wanted to talk about the student center, because I think a lot of you guys know that this particular project, I mean, this dates back to the Measure R bond. Then it was in Measure RR, and now it's in Measure GO. And so this is sort of half funded by RR and half by Measure GO. It is probably, it is so long overdue that the students have been waiting for it for forever. So this is a 3-story facility the top, or sorry, the first and second floors belong to the students. So this is where the office, the student life office is located, all of the associated students, and just a ton of sit and relax and study space for the students, which when we did the master plan, the number one request from the students is they needed places to sit and study and plug in their devices, and they wanted them indoor, and they also really wanted them outdoor with shade. This project really brings a lot of that to fruition. The top floor, the third floor, is a conference center. So this is a huge community amenity. So what that means is that's like an event center, like what you would have in a hotel, where you've got big movable walls, so you can have smaller meeting rooms or big meeting rooms. And I want to show you this next slide. You can see here that when you open it all up, like this is the banquet configuration. We figured out yesterday, Joe, thank you for looking it up, that we could seat like 500 people in a banquet configuration and something close to 900 people in a lecture configuration. So this is something we really wanted to make sure that everybody in the community was aware of, because it's right smack in the center of campus. You can't miss it once you're driving down Temple. We'll have visitor and short-term parking right there on Lot D next to Temple Avenue, and we're really hoping that this is something that draws more of our community members in, renting it out for events. In addition to, with the number of students we serve, we haven't had a space this big to host events anywhere on campus, because the Sophia B. Clark Theater only seats 400. So the fact that we could get up to 900 in here, we have so many options now. And this is what I was talking about with sort of the sit and relax and all these student spaces. One of the things I'm personally really excited about is that it includes a multicultural center, which is a really big deal for us, because in this particular moment, I mean, obviously Mount SAC has always been really focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion. But after what we've been through recently, it is even more of a pressing issue for our students and employees. And we're really looking at that and what that means in terms of physical space and prioritizing projects, and what is the message that we're sending to both our internal community and our external community. And I'm actually really looking forward to seeing where that's going to go. And then so this is an older view, but this is standing up at the top of the science building, looking down into the center of campus. So this right here is the design technology building back here. This is 9E, the Student Success Center, and that over there is 9B, the Student Center. This is where all the row buildings used to be. They've all been demolished. Actually, now all of these modulars have been removed, and this whole site up at the top here, that's where the new Student Center goes. So that's the building I was just talking about. And then in this area is where the smaller campus store and instruction office goes. So we're reinventing and completely re-envisioning the front door of the campus. This one I just like showing. We had to bring in, when you grow your campus student body, you need to grow your support services proportionately, and counseling is really important. So until we can get to the point where we can actually plan, design, and then build the Student Services North facility, we didn't have enough space for counselors. So we brought in a couple of modulars. Literally, you can see them, craned them in and dropped them in during COVID, so that when we come back for work, now we've got a whole bunch, like sort of, I call it a counseling annex. I'm sure they have a better name for it. But we've got spaces for the new staff we hired. Okay, any questions about that before I start talking about the coach car, the overpass? That was the locomotive that we just talked about.
Go.
Okay, so people, right? Transportation in terms of people is a huge issue on our campus, right? Because the number one problem we have, and I think the biggest impact negatively that we have on the community, has to do with traffic, right? And parking's always an issue. So this is a rendering of the Temple Avenue Green Corridor. This is that this is the gateway parking structure. Here's that pedestrian bridge going over Temple, crossing all the way over here, so it goes over the transit center and ultimately connects to the Miracle Mile. when the Temple Avenue Green Corridor is a huge, huge piece of the master plan. And what it does is it completely rethinks how people view and experience Temple Avenue when you're within the boundaries of the Mount SAC campus. And so the idea was that we have this amazing bookend, right? On the west end, we have the wildlife sanctuary. And on the east end, on the Pomona side, we have the farm. So we have these two huge outdoor spaces that bookend the campus and mark those gateways, right? Mark the entry. I don't know of any other campus that has that. So then the Temple Avenue Green Corridor, the idea, and you can see it here, is we're removing all of the metered parking. We're replacing it with protected bike lanes, trees, parkways, bigger sidewalks. These are 6 foot wide sidewalks that allows 2 wheelchairs to pass one another easily, sets back the edge of the soccer field so that really you slow down. Like once you enter the campus at either Temple Grand Amar or at Temple and the eastern edge, you know that this isn't a thoroughfare. This isn't a street where you want to drive like a bat out of hell, right? You're in the campus, and so we're really trying to connect the two sides. The trees are a combination of fern pines, which are evergreen trees, and then in the center, there's 2 layers of trees wherever we can get it. We've got the pop of the forest pansy redbud, which sort of has that beautiful maroon color, which also conveniently is a Mount SAC color, that sort of draws your eye into the center of campus. And then we're replacing all that ratty chain link with really nice, strong steel fencing. And the first phase of it that we're doing is the south side of Temple. And that's because we've got the gateway parking structure and we have that gymnasium aquatics project, so we can do the whole south side of Temple together. It's going to be pretty amazing. And then this is the Foothill Transit renderings. This is the transit center, you guys. So that intersection where the buses, and this is a bus only area, enters the transit center, that signal is the same signal that leads to the gateway parking structure. And this project has 10 bus bays, right? So it gets those buses off of Temple. It gets the bus stops off of Temple. It is so much safer. And by doing all of that, that's what's allowing us to bring in those protected bike lanes going both ways. And
so I couldn't see the bike lanes on the prior slide. Could you point them out?
Well, here's one here. Do you see the bike here? And then more importantly here, do you see the green striped bike lane?
Wait, the green stripe next to the curb is I see. Okay, I see it.
And this is just, they didn't do it on the other side yet, you guys, but see here, they're still showing the metered parking on the north side because this is the last phase. We can't do it till we finish the projects here. But ultimately, you guys, it goes both ways. And it's,
I see it.
It completely changes it. Yeah, there's been a lot of really detailed work on the design of those bike lanes. We have a landscape advisory task force that we created after we did the master plan. And we've got some avid bike riders in there who've really been helping us with that. And what I wanted you to see is, do you see the bridge here? The pedestrian bridge here that goes over top? It connects all the way up here at the Miracle Mile level. And that is huge in terms of universal design because that east-west connector, the build out of the true Miracle Mile is probably like the major organizing concept of our master plan to help people navigate the campus and help with wayfinding.
Mika, people may not know what universal design is. I'm not even sure I could explain it.
Oh, okay. So universal design is, so you know how people talk about the ADA, the Americans with Disability Act? The ADA is civil rights legislation. It is not code. It then gets translated into code, and then, it's kind of like sustainability. People go, oh, sustainability is about recycling. No. Sustainability is the intersection of environmental, social, and economic justice. It's a much bigger issue. Universal design is the same thing. It's about designing space indoor, outdoor, to support people of all ages and abilities. And as you probably all know, we have a pretty significant disabled student population on our campus. And by that doesn't just mean they're in a wheelchair. You know, we've got a huge deaf and hard of hearing population. We have people with visual impairments, and we have the biggest school of continuing education program in the state. So we have a lot of older adults, and then we also have a lot of young kids. So we are trying to make a space that is accessible and easily navigatable by everyone, which is a tall order when you have topography like our campus, because the level down here at Temple versus where you would be up at Edinger, that is a significantly steep drop. And so we're trying to get the pedestrians off of Temple Avenue because it's dangerous. So everything we're doing where we're starting to look at these pedestrian and sky bridges is designed to make it accessible, right? Because we've got elevators that bring people into this Miracle Mile, which is relatively flat, so that people can get from the east end of campus to the west end of campus without barriers. And it's a huge initiative. Does that make sense? Do people have more questions about that? I mean, I could really get into universal design because I'm a big proponent of it, but it was born out of the accessibility movement and has become something much bigger because it has impacts on physical space.
Mika, as opposed to asking for questions, I would suggest you drive toward what you got to do, because I think we're only good for about another 5.
Okay. All right. So this is just another view of that bridge and the parking structure. So the freight car, these are what we call the next group of projects. These are the 1B projects. So this is what's coming. So this is the overall precinct plan for what that athletics neighborhood is going to look like. So this piece, right, this is what's constructed now. This big monster is the field house, right? This is the restrooms, ticketing, concessions. This is the new Heritage Hall, which also has this really great assembly space and exhibit space, which I absolutely expect them to be holding community events in. The new wellness gymnasium aquatic center, pretty significant. There's an upper level running track around the competition basketball courts. The bridge that comes over here again. So this gateway parking structure. There's another bridge that crosses over into here with this amazing view down into. You can see it here in. Oops, I got over clicky. One moment, please. Into. Come on, Zoom. Mad at me. Okay. You can see the upper level, track here. You can see taking advantage of the mezzanine level, because when you have height like that you need for a competition court, why not take advantage of the interstitial space? And this amazing new aquatics facility with honest to goodness shaded spectator seating, and this view that everybody gets to see as they're coming across the bridge here. This is Heritage Hall. When you go in there, that's inside is going to be a big exhibit space and that assembly space, which I hope community members will really be able to take advantage of in terms of more events on campus. So easy to find, easy to see, located adjacent to parking. This is what's happening in the center of campus. We talked about the student center. This is the new campus store and instruction offices. So from a community standpoint, the bookstore is really big. Oh God. You guys, I'm a little bit too clicky today. Come on. This is where the bookstore is going to be, right? But it becomes a campus store. This is another destination spot for a lot of community. There's a coffee shop, probably a Starbucks in here. And then look at all this outdoor space, you guys. This is what the students have been screaming for. And this walkway, this is a universal walk. That means no ramps, no handrails, less than a 5% slope that gets you from a new drop-off and parking in Lot D right here adjacent to Temple, all the way up into the Miracle Mile part of campus. And then this is also how you as community members, if you were coming to the conference center, this is how you go. You go straight up and you come in here and then you go up to that 3rd floor. So just imagine what used to be trailers and row buildings is creating this new welcoming front door. And then the next project that's coming is the library. So that whole face of what you see from Temple is all about buildings that are destination points for the community that you can see easily with the parking you need right next to it. I cannot wait for this. These are just some views. There's, all kinds of sustainable strategies going on here. Because, Mount Sac, we're now, we're really trying to achieve at least LEED gold on all of our buildings. And frankly, with changes at the state, there's a real big push now to go net zero. And so we're really looking at that. There are some cost implications, but again, I'm a LEED accredited professional and big sustainability person. So to me, when I look at total cost of ownership or life cycle cost analysis, to me, it's a no-brainer, but we've got to figure out how that plays out into our budgeting. This is the view here. So this is that walkway I was talking about. So once you hit that drop off, this down here, this is that new campus store. This is the student center. You can see the escalators that would bring you up to this conference level. One of the things we heard from the community throughout the workshops when we were doing the master plan is that you guys can't find these community destination points on our campus, and we need to make things more visible. We need to share out to the community what it is that we're doing, be more transparent. This is the other piece here. This is a new one you guys have probably heard about, but the intersection of Temple and Mount Sac Way, this is the soccer field. We're building a new competition beach volleyball facility. That's a 6-court competition facility. There's nothing like it anywhere near us, with a whole new entry point. With it becomes a new entry point to the wildlife sanctuary and the much needed public toileting, mostly for the little guys, right? Because we have a lot of the elementary kids who come in here. This is the parking for the school buses who come in and use the wildlife sanctuary. There's all kinds of trainings that go on there. So that completely cleans up that area. Lori, actually, this is what I was thinking of for you, and so our School of Continuing Education, for those of you who don't know, they're housed in these really dilapidated modular buildings. They have needed a new facility forever. And so what we're studying right now is where they really want to be on the northeast edge of campus. But again, building in another one of these major pedestrian pathways that's universally accessible, thinking about all the needs of the School of Continuing Education. It's really expanding because they are the biggest in the state and they keep growing. And frankly, they'd like to be the regional workforce training center. So what does that mean? And the idea that by bringing them across Bonita, right now they feel other. Bringing them onto the main campus and giving them their own identity, but connecting them, because the School of Continuing Education is kind of like a path, in one respect, a pathway for those students to then transition in to the campus as a whole for more sort of traditional courses. And so this, for me personally, especially from a diversity and equity and inclusion standpoint, is the single most important project that we are engaged in right now, because it will show our students, our employees, our community that how much Mount Sac values our School of Continuing Education, supports them, wants them to feel part of. And as the biggest one in the state, it's also using physical space as a demonstration that we need to be supporting these programs and taking them even more seriously. And we set a precedent on our campus for what that means. And going the wrong way. This was just another example just to sort of show you how we're envisioning, rethinking this whole drop-off and parking here at the front of campus, and how if you need to get to the library, it's right there. You need to get to the campus store, it's right there. You need to get up to the conference center, you get right up there. And then, all these different pathways get you up to the Miracle Mile so you can easily connect and get anywhere you need on campus. You combine that with a giant wayfinding effort, which we're about to start, and I pray you guys will say, wow, Mika, I actually can figure out how to get across this campus now. And then the Hyperloop is just the projects of the future. So there's a whole bunch of other projects, right? When we build the new library, then the existing library vacates, and this is just an alphabetical order as opposed to phasing sequence. We vacate the majority of the top floor of building 6. So we've got a major renovation project to convert that building into a collection of spaces that are all about college support. There's going to need to be a third parking structure, most likely in Lot F. The much needed Student Services North facility. We need that because Student Services is, growing like gangbusters. We desperately need another science lab building. That is one of our most impacted programs. We literally cannot offer enough beginning biology courses. We are out of space. And then once we finish that science lab, then we can finish Temple Avenue Green Quarter on the north side. It's a little bit more about the library, kind of how it's connecting with everything. This shows a stacked view, again, about how there's a public entry and a campus entry, and it's all about daylight and sustainability and building in, again, group study, outdoor seating. There'll be a whole bunch of public computers in here, right? And then the stacks and reading areas looking north into the campus. And then the caboose, this is the last piece. Is again, I think I described you guys how my job is to look at how these things knit together. Well, what this is all about is look at all of these pedestrian connections and how we're weaving through, what are we doing on Temple? What are we doing within these neighborhoods? How are we building in our urban forest so that our trees on campus are part of our curriculum. So if we have to remove something, we have to put them back. And then some. There are over 100 trees that are required for curriculum, and we're trying to build in more and more of that so that the campus is truly both an urban forest but a living lab of everything we need to teach our students. And then this is just my last slide. It's pulling into the station and then, it's what next. So, okay, I did that
Thank
really
you.
fast. Questions?
Excellent.
I
Thank you.
told you I could talk about it for hours. There's
I
that
have
much
a,
stuff
I
going
have
on.
a quick question, Mika. With the athletics thing, like the track field and swimming, are they all going to be Olympic, Olympic regulated spaces?
So the whole track and field is IAAF. So you betcha. Not
Okay.
NCAA. It's the whole next level.
Okay.
And
And
I'll be
swimming
honest,
as well? Swimming as well?
Swimming, oh yeah.
Okay.
Giant 50-meter with a bulkhead, separate diving pool.
Okay.
I guarantee you, with the 2028 Olympics, our phone is going to be ringing off the hook.
I bet.
for
Yeah,
various trials.
Yeah.
Didn't Sac host like the national championship for track and field for so many years?
Oh yeah.
It was like
Used to.
it was like one of the big stops.
It was.
Yeah, everybody followed that.
Everybody knows it, right?
Yeah.
Because like when I say to
Yeah, it was
people,
the Mount Sac relays.
Right.
Mount Sac relays.
Right.
yeah, you guys watch in the next year when we can finally open this up, and I'll be honest with you, think about what that does for our community, just from an economic standpoint.
Absolutely.
What those kinds of events bring in, that's huge.
Huge.
Right?
Huge.
It's huge for our student athletes to get that level of recognition and to be able to see
Right.
that level of athlete out there. Oh my
Right.
goodness. Right? So
Thank you, Mika. I just wanted to make sure. I figured it was, but I
You have
just wanted
that
to make
whole
sure.
thing on a PowerPoint? You should send it to us. I'd love to
I
have
sent
it.
it to Jill if you want it.
Oh, I love it.
And I have to tell you guys, I trimmed a gazillion slides because I was worried I, wouldn't have enough time, and I still didn't get through it all. I mean, I haven't even shown you.
You just
the whole
made it.
But it was very exciting information you
Yeah,
provided.
that was
Mika.
great,
Thank you.
Mika. That was
So
great.
I hope you realize we are spending your $750 million really, really well. It is not going into, excuse my language, administrative bullshit. It is going into projects. It is going into things our students and our employees need. And all of that also connects with the community, finally.
Yeah, our money's going to so many different places. You can't even keep track of it anymore.
Well, yeah, but I live in LA, right? I live across the street from an LA CCD campus, and I guarantee you, I look at that campus and go, where do my tax dollars go? Like,
Yeah.
what are we getting here? Mount Sac, It's right there. Drive by with Drexel next time. You'll get stopped by a construction flagger because he can't even get through the streets.
Yeah, but
Hey,
did you,
real-
did you,
one-
did you
one
spend
quick
part of
question.
them?
One quick question. Do you have any insight on what they're doing on the other side of the hill with Spadra? That's right up against you, right? The dump,
I
the
do
old dump?
not. I do
Okay.
not.
Do you ever smell anything? Do you ever smell anything?
No, and I go walking up on the switchbacks.
Okay, good. That's
For all
great.
of you guys, you know, our director of the fitness center, Casey's like, get your steps in. She's on all of our cases. We get emails, so she makes us go.
All right, I'm gonna shut up so we can go.
Folks, I want to say thank you to the Mountsac folks for coming in and
Thank
making
you.
the meeting so interesting.
Mr. President? just a
Yes,
quick-
Mr. Drexel.
Just a quick point. John, when the Sand District closed Spadrop, it was closed to become a land laboratory in partnership with Cal Poly. So Cal Poly's science program with dealing with landfills and waste management and waste to energy, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
is really taken over the responsibility and operates the closure of that fill as an ongoing laboratory.
oh, wow. All right.
All right, with all that said, I think we'll get to our four-way test before we say goodbye. So first, the four-way test is it
Get the truth.
truth? Second?
Is it fair to all concerned?
concerned? Third?
Will it build goodwill and better friendships?
And fourth?
Will it
Will
be
it be
beneficial to all
to all
concerned?
concerned? So thanks, everybody, for joining us. And
Nice
we
to
really
see
appreciated
everyone.
the
Yeah, it was great. Nice to
information.
meet you, Jill, and it was great to
Yeah,
have you
and
back again, Mika. I enjoyed
I
getting
don't
your
know
time
if you
again.
noticed, but in the chat, I put a couple links.
Yes, I got them and copying them onto a space. so
Okay,
can look at them.
I will save
Those
the
are
chat.
information.
Yeah, I will save the chat and make sure it's available. So
Yeah.
And
Thank
I'm
you
always
for that,
available
Jill.
too for questions or
Jill.
documents. So
Yeah.
nice to see
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Thank
See
you.
you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good to see you, Laura.